Welcome to the Secret Sauce of Outsourcing podcast that's dedicated to making you better at working with OFS, Online Filipino Specialists. This is episode 244. What internet options exist in the Philippines? I'm going to read this to you today because this is super interesting. One of my OFS wrote this and sent it to me, and this is really awesome, and it's really kind of eye-opening. So here we go. In the Philippines, there are three types of internet connections. Fiber, which includes VDSL, FTTH, and cable broadband. Now, I don't know what those things mean. I'm going to interject a bunch of times here. I don't know what those things mean. VDSL, VTTH, I don't really care. That's fiber internet. Next, cable service line, which is DSL, currently being phased out by fiber. And then third, wireless broadband using mobile networks, 3G, 4G, and 5G. So in the US, we have the same kind of internet. Maybe you have it from the phone service, maybe you have it from the cable provider. Then we also all have our phones. He continues. When working from home, land-based connections like fiber and DSL are preferable. They're more stable, faster, and provide more value. Unfortunately, the fiber and DSL connection for some areas is limited. In our neighborhood, for example, we had a limited number of fiber connections allocated for our area. You have to apply early if you want to get one. The rest have to settle for wireless internet. Really interesting just kind of how things work. Like when they set this up in the Philippines, they say, oh, well, there's going to be 100 homes here. We're going to provide 16 connections. I don't know why. You know, the Philippines just works differently than it does here in the US. He continues. Or they'd have to wait for someone to end or cancel their subscription, or wait for more lines to be made available. But since the pandemic, more fiber lines have been built all over the country. It is somewhat easier to get a land-based connection now, but it still depends on where you live. It's easier if you live in the major metropolitan areas and harder in the provinces. Which, just so people know, typically people, workers on Onlinejobs.ph are less expensive in the provinces. If you live in a major metropolitan area, if you live in Cebu or Manila, you know, it's just more expensive there. For those who can't get DSL or fiber internet, wireless broadband is available everywhere as long as there's a cellular connection. Most of us use wireless internet as our backup internet when the land-based network is down. We can buy this anywhere from convenience stores to malls. You have the option of getting a data-only SIM card and using your phone as a router, or getting a wireless internet router like this one for a stronger signal. And he has included a picture of a wireless internet router from Globe, which has prepaid Wi-Fi on it. He says, wireless internet is not good enough to do some online work though. In my experience, while download speeds are faster now, up to 50 megabits per second, the upload speeds leave much to be desired. It's also not as stable or as reliable as fiber. A strong enough storm is enough to slow down most wireless internet connections. So for me, that right there was really interesting. Download speeds up to 50 megabits per second that's not slow. Okay, so it's not gigabit internet that I have at my house, but it's still not slow. And that's wireless. So that tells me that their wired speeds are faster. And then obviously, yeah, a strong enough storm is strong enough to slow things down. That's to be expected. So he continues, you can also feel the connection slowing down when a lot of users are on the network at the same time. But despite these disadvantages, wireless internet is a popular option because we can easily get prepaid plans. So because he doesn't explain this, I'm going to explain this to you. So a prepaid plan means you can go in and buy data, which he's going to talk about how much. You can go in and buy data, and then it just sits there for you. So you spend $10 or like 500 pesos or 1,000 pesos, $20. And then you get an allocated amount of data that is on this SIM card or on your mobile router that you can use that data whenever you want. Often it'll expire in like a year, or it might expire in a month, or it might expire in 6 months. And you'll know what's going to expire, and so you can buy what you need. You buy this, you don't use it until you need it, which is, it's a pretty cheap internet backup. So here's what he says. Despite these disadvantages, wireless internet is a popular option because we can easily get prepaid plans. The lowest offering is 5 gigabytes of data for 3 days at $1. So for $1, you get 3 days of access, up to 5 gigs. For $4, you can get up to 30 gigabytes of data for 1 week. Other packages offer higher data allowances, longer package expiration, or special packages depending on the apps used. Now he's going to talk about specific service providers, and this is interesting. I'll talk about it at the end. I'll interject my opinion at the end. PLDT, which is the Philippines long-distance telephone company, is the first telephone company in the Philippines. A lot of our internet infrastructure uses the phone network established by this company. That's why a lot of their plans come bundled with a landline. These are their basic plans. The cheapest plan here, which he has an image, is 25 megabits per second, is around $23 per month. Their highest plan at 1 gigabit per second requires those interested in contacting their sales. So you have to contact sales to get that plan. The 400 megabit per second plan is the one we're using at home. So far, it's been able to support me, my husband. Well, that's interesting because this is a husband and wife. This is Jam and Julia, and one of them said they wrote this, and then the other one actually writing it, which I guess I don't really care. So far, it's been enough to support me, my husband, who also works at home, and our daughter's online classes. So this is, man, 400 megabits a second? Like, that's what my internet was a year ago. That's where they are, 400 megabit at home. So yeah, that's like legit. That's no different, realistically, than most people in the US. Next, Globe Communications. So Globe is PLDT's main competitor in providing wired and wireless internet. Below are their fiber plans. Like PLDT, they also provide landline services, but only for subscriptions. So 2,500 Filipino pesos, which is $45 and higher. There's an image here of their plans. You know, I mean, these numbers are pretty reasonable. Sky Cable, there's the next provider. They're a cable company that also offers fiber over cable broadband. You can get it with or without a cable subscription. The ones shown below are the plans without cable, and there's an image for me to see like their current plans from Sky Cable. Then Converge. Converge used to be a small player providing home and business fiber connections in Metro Manila, but has slowly grown and expanded to many places in the Philippines. Their speed offerings are comparable to what the bigger players have and are offered at slightly cheaper rate. So that's Converge. And then images of their plans. They also offer special rates based on time and usage. If your OFS exclusively works nights, then they can get the night plan, which has double the speed at night. So, I mean, just really eye-opening email from them. I thought it was him, I guess it's her, who sent this to me. And like, their internet speeds are legit. I had someone this week say, oh, but I really need someone with a fast internet. Yeah, that's really not an issue. Oh, but I also need them to have a fast computer. Well, yeah, like a lot of people have MacBook Pros or they have iPhones, or, you know, not everybody does, but a lot of people. Like, it's not uncommon. The Philippines they're definitely not the same as in the US or in Europe in terms of computers at home or internet speeds, but they're not far behind. She continues, I can't recommend which internet service provider is the best because the availability and strength of connection of these ISPs depends on the area. To find the best ISP, you really need to do your research and ask a lot of questions. All over the Philippines are smaller ISPs like Rise, Infinivan, and DC Tech. These smaller broadband ISPs used to only service businesses, but have recently started creating plans for homes and individual users. Their service coverage is localized. You have to check their website to see what cities they offer coverage. Now, let me offer you some advice. Do not go figure this out. Don't go and research internet providers in the Philippines. You want to provide internet to your OFS, talk to them. Say, hey, I want you to have 200 megabits a second, 400 megabits, whatever it is. Go research the plans in your area. What's going to provide this? What's going to provide you the most reliable connection? And then can you also have a backup connection? And what do you need for that? And then consider paying for this. I mean, $45 a month is a significant amount when someone is making $600 a month. Like that's a large portion of their income, right? $45 a month for us in the US is not so much. So now, in the end, internet speeds or computer speeds should not be an excuse for you not hiring someone in the Philippines. If you have more questions, go check out ofsguide.com, where I answer the top 9 questions that I get asked. And I get asked these things over and over again. ofsguide.com.